and gentlemen, I'm Frank Trigg. That is Daniel Cormier, DC. Yes, he is at the house, relaxing, trying to. It's about an hour before your first workout of the day here on a Monday.
Yeah. Just really kind of tapering down now.
It's fight week. What's your fights? What's your week like during fight week? What's your schedule like before you take off?
Well, today I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna. Oh, what happened?
Oh no,
Frank, you paused me, dude.
no,
You did it.
There it is. We're good.
Yeah.
You're all right.
Well, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna bring my sparring gear and I'm gonna move around a little bit. I'm not gonna spar hard or anything. Just kind of play some pity pat and then afterwards just drill a little bit of jiu-jitsu and then hit some pads. So Monday's still quite a bit of work because I mean, I don't want to be just resting all week, So I'll go pretty good Monday. And on Tuesday I go in and I drill wrestling for an hour, maybe get a run in, and I just run every day, And then as I start getting closer, Wednesday, Thursday, I really start to taper down, just run at night, hit some pads, real light pads. But Monday, Tuesday, still pretty good work days for me.
You still found that old wrestling mentality where you work all the way through pretty much?
And I think that's where it comes from. I just don't want to be waiting 5-6 days just to fight. I need to make sure my timing's still on, I'm still sharp, and I'm still ready to go, So, yeah, I'll get in there today and work good. Get in there tomorrow, work pretty good. And then, even when I'm running, I'm still running at a good pace, but it's nothing more than running. I'm not going to be punching anyone, wrestling anyone. So, yeah, I think it's, when I was wrestling, we always trained Monday, Tuesday for a Saturday tournament. So, I think that's kind of the mentality.
The Open Nationals are this weekend here in Vegas. If you weren't fighting, would you be down here watching?
Yeah, I'd definitely be there watching, man. Jordan Oliver, NCAA champion from Oklahoma State.
Yep.
He's a guy that I was really close to when I was there. I'm actually going to help him as he pursues his Olympic goal. I'm going to help him with some sponsorship and kind of try to make that journey a little bit easier for him, because it's easier to focus on your goals whenever you're not so worried about financial stuff. As I know, Frank, from wrestling, you're so worried about eating and paying your rent or your mortgage if you can afford a house that it's really hard to focus on the ultimate goal. So I'm going to help him a little bit. I'm actually going to help him myself personally.
Oh.
And then I'm going to personally help him myself. And then he's also going to get a deal with Cage Fighter, my sponsor.
Good.
Where they're going to help him too. So we're going to do everything we can to try and make his journey a little bit easier.
Cage Fighter's sponsoring a lot of fighters, but they're jumping back into wrestling again too. I saw a couple of singlets they put up for like Jordan Burroughs and some other guys that they'll be wearing this week.
Well, Jordan Burroughs is the flagship athlete of the company. He was the guy that when they kind of rebranded and restarted, because before Cage Fighter and MMA Elite was one company, and then when MMA Elite and Cage Fighter split the brands, Jordan Burroughs was kind of the flagship guy when it started. Obviously he's had a lot of success, and then myself in MMA, and now Jordan Burroughs working on deals with a couple other wrestlers. So it's more of a wrestling brand. As you've known from the beginning, Mike DeSabato is a wrestling guy from Columbus, Ohio, and I think his vision is good for what wrestling needs right now. Wrestling needs a brand that people can relate to, people can see nice, clean stuff, and a person that's actually going to get out there and try and put the sport in the spotlight. Mike thinks in bigger terms when it comes to wrestling. He doesn't just think, well, let's be big in the wrestling market. Let's try and just blow this thing up completely.
I want to step back for a second. It's the first time I think I've ever heard of an active professional fighter digging into his own pocket to sponsor an active wrestler. This is a big deal. Like, you're digging into your own pocket to pay for this.
Well, I just know how difficult it can be, and I was lucky, because I had Jim Ravanack, who was helping me out a ton when I was wrestling,
Yeah.
So my situation wasn't nearly as bad as some of the guys, but I see guys trying to make it and they just can't, so and then, I've known Jordan since he was a kid. I was at Oklahoma State whenever he walked into the wrestling room, and we got really close. He'd come to my house and hang out with my nephew and eat dinner with us sometimes, him and his cousin Alex Mead. And, so I figured, if I'm in a situation where I can help him, then why not? I think I want to help to make his journey a little bit easier.
And that's big. It's people don't understand how tight the wrestling community really is, and this is another step of showing the fraternity and the sorority of wrestling as a whole, whether it's men's or women's, we're still real tight and we're still real close. And it's guys like DC that go on to step up and take care of the next generation of guys. It's a big deal. That's huge.
Yeah. You got to try and help, man. You got to try and help because we need these guys to continue to be world Olympic champions. Obviously, you see the state of Olympic wrestling right now. They're trying to get rid of it. That's some crazy stuff, and these guys need opportunities. These aren't dreams that started 2-3 years ago. These kids have dreamt of being Olympic champions since they were kids. To not have that opportunity would suck.
Well, let's move on and talk about Frank Mir. Here's your opponent coming up. It's going to be a big deal, this matchup, because it's a big size heavyweight versus a small size heavyweight. A guy that knows how to break bones and break folks from underneath, and a guy that knows how to take guys down and hold them down and beat them up from on top. Super athletic and technical versus technical and strong. How do you break down Frank Mir when you look at his tapes?
I break down Frank just like you said. He's a very strong guy, physical guy, a guy that's accomplished a ton in this sport. He's very experienced and dangerous. But outside of that, I respect him, but I'm very excited to get in the cage with him.
All right, well, let's look at it this way. One guy you've already fought and one guy you're about to fight. Who do you think will hit harder, Josh Burnett or Frank Mir?
I think, personally I think Josh Burnett actually is a little more dangerous to me than Frank Mir, I thought, because he's a little faster. Josh doesn't seem to get as tired as Frank has shown to get in fights. And he's faster. Frank's a big guy that probably hits harder, but he doesn't seem to have that explosive speed to actually go into his combinations. And Barnett's actually pretty good at that too. Josh has shown that he's a little more capable of getting takedowns in the fights. Frank's taking people down, but Frank's won a lot of fights off of his back. Frank's obviously a little better off of his back, I think. I think Josh is limited to leg locks and stuff off of his back, whereas Frank can throw up arm bars, Frank can Cormier you, Frank can do a lot of different things off of his back. So when putting them next to each other, I think they're both great fighters. I truly do believe that, for me personally, Josh Burnett is a tougher guy than Frank.
Yeah, it's all styles. You know how it is. Like even from wrestling days, you compete against some guys. Like I could never beat Joe Williams. I just couldn't ever beat him. But I could beat everybody else. And then Brandon Slay showed up, and all of a sudden I couldn't beat Brandon. It was like I was the best also-ran guy there all the time. It's just stylistically, those guys just gave me fits. I couldn't stop them. And Mark Branch in college, Mark Branch beats me up in college, but then we get to the Opens, and I beat him up. And it was like just stylistically, it's just how it works out.
It's all styles, man. And I think in terms of styles, like you said, with the athleticism and everything, my ability to move around the cage, my cardio, that's probably what's going to be Frank's going to have the biggest problems with is my athleticism, my speed, and I'm not going to get tired. I train hard. I train like a wrestler. I'm going to be in shape, and I'm going to be ready to go come Saturday night.
What are you weighing right now?
Right now, I'm probably about 235, 234 in the morning, before I train. So after practice, sometimes 229, 230. So
okay,
it's good.
I
want to try to be 235, 238 for this fight because Frank generally comes in pretty big.
55, 60.
Yeah, it'll be 255, 260.
Yeah.
Unless he does what Barnett does. Josh, I thought Josh got in great shape for our fight because he knew it would be a long, tough fight.
Yeah.
But I think he kind of gave up his biggest advantage, which was his size. He came in at 247 pounds.
Yeah.
And unless Frank does that, Frank may come in light, and if he does, then that's even better for me. Yeah,
he crushes because that's the one advantage that they would have is that they're able to lay on you and hold you down and slow you down by putting a lot of extra poundage on you. And if they're getting smaller, it doesn't do them any good. They're not going to get any faster. not gonna be able to catch your speed still. Still gonna be able to catch your athleticism, but they're not gonna have that extra weight in their ass to stop you either.
Exactly. And you know, I think that's probably the biggest misconception is that you think you lose weight and when you lose weight, you become faster and you can match me in terms of speed. But there are a little more factors that play into that. You know, it's not just speed. You know, it's things that you're born with. You know, quick twitch, fast twitch muscles, explosiveness. You know, just because you lose weight doesn't mean you really gain that stuff. You know, so.
Right. Yep, I got you. Well, DC, thanks for coming on here. I know you got to get ready for practice. I don't want to keep it for too much longer. I really appreciate you hunting us down and making this happen. I'll talk to you. Good luck this weekend. I'll be at the wrestling all week. I'm taking my boys Wednesday, and I'm going to hang out there Thursday, Friday, Saturday with a bunch of my old buddies. So I'll keep giving you reports and let you know how things are going.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait. Hold on. My daughter wants to say hi.
Of course.
Come say hi. Come tell them hi, baby.